reports of a massive explosion which ripped through the side of the building in the early hours of Tuesday morning. Can you give us any indication of how the explosion occurred?
Yes, it was a gas leak.
Unconfirmed reports indicate a widespread area of damage to the surrounding area. Okay, Bob, we got a feed going. Going live in 15, 14...
Can you confirm the presence of a black helicopter gunship that was reportedly spotted in the vicinity prior to the explosion?
No comment.
Any idea who's gunning for you, Mr. Fisk? Sir, over here. Mr. Fisk, what do you say to those who must surely assumed you dead after the explosion?
Get used to disappointments.
Mr. Fisk, Daily Hail here. Do you think this incident can be in any way connected to your links with organized crime?
Oh my. I have no links to organized crime, sir. Only false allegations of such. It has long been my burden to suffer the slanderous and childish accusations of jealous competitors. I am no businessman, no more, no less. As a matter of fact, I believe I own a rather substantial stake in your venerable publication, Mr.
Watson, Mr. Fisk, Joe Watson, sir.
The sad truth, Mr. Watson, is that my organization now faces some liability issues arising from the fallout of the explosion. It saddens me to think that others would wish to gain financially from the misery and suffering inflicted by this unfortunate accident. But such is my cross to bear. It is with that thought in mind, then, that I have decided to retain the services of one of the city's foremost legal firms.
He's alive!
I remember when I first became a hero. Seems like a lifetime ago that I was struck by the canister carrying radioactive waste which took away my sight and liberated my senses. Back in those early days, I was young and brave, and oh so naive, throwing myself around the city like a human hand grenade, blowing up the bad guys indiscriminately. I was a blind fool who thought he was going to make a difference. I made a lot of ridiculous promises to the city and to myself that I'd rectify injustice, that I'd right wrongs and fight crime, and put an end to all the killing. But the sad truth is, the city would rather kill itself.
Show off?
Let's try and make it quick, please, Peter. I've had a long day.
Tell me about it. I'm up to the plate facing the wrong way, and it's like strike 12. Come on, let's go clear out the cobwebs. This loon has gone after Kingpin, seems to have a talent for keeping himself very far away from the spotlight. No one's saying a word. If they're not afraid of the new player, they're sure as hell afraid of Fisk. Everyone's running around like it's the end of the world.
Maybe it is. I heard the wreckage of the building was tidied up before any traces of evidence could be found. We have no perp, no motive, no hard evidence. In a city full of crooks, all stricken with coincidental amnesia.
Well, whoever it is blew up the castle. Fisk survived. I guess that means we can guarantee a few more fireworks before this is through.
I had a word with Jack Daniel Abbott yesterday.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I just know the guy was trying to tell me something about the new muscle, but I haven't been able to work out what it means. He gave me some kind of clue. 7MO. Ring any bells?
Not really. Say, you ever get the urge to gawp on people from up here?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're tearing along after some super crook or whatever, you ever get the urge to just lean down and honk one at some poor unsuspecting passerby? And the guy's like, craning his neck upwards to look at all the excitement, and it catches him right in the eye?
Grow up, Peter. We're not children anymore.
I noticed. So what's the plan, Stan?
I don't have one. I swear. Sometimes I wonder if I'm not losing faith in this whole torturous process you and I put ourselves through. How typical that Fisk had the foresight to install 10-foot plexiglass on the top few floors of his building. The man has more lives than 20 cats. I can't help thinking how unfair that is.
Oh, but hey, leave it to the lawyer to find the silver lining morass of human misery, right? Fat boy himself. What are you gonna do with all the money?
What do you mean? What money?
You didn't know? You're kidding, right? I mean, tell me you're not kidding.
What? What?
Oh boy, are you in for a surprise?
And you may give my regards to the wife of our reporter friend.
Excuse me. This is a private room, sir. You can't come in here.
Mr. Fisk!
Ah, gentlemen. I believe my attorney has arrived.
I believe you're mistaken, sir. Due to an unfortunate conflict of interest, I'm afraid my office will be unable to take your case in the foreseeable future. Our firm currently represents one of the plaintiffs against you in an unrelated matter, but I would be happy to refer you to a more appropriate attorney.
Gentlemen, a moment alone if you please. Mr. Murdoch and I have private matters to discuss.
What do you think you're doing?
I'm seeing the world differently. Haven't you heard?
Let me get one thing straight, you big slug. The end of time will come and go, and hell will freeze over before I agree to this. I will never, ever work on your behalf.
On the contrary, Murdoch, I do believe you will.
What makes you so sure?
I haven't had as much practice being blind as you have, but being like this gives me a new perspective, a new lease on life, if you will. I feel as though we have come to an understanding, you and I. You are a man of honor, for which I pity you. I am a realist, and you hate me for it. There are no secrets between us anymore. You already know, of course, that I cannot and will not allow some snot-nosed upstart to stake any claim to my arena of operations. And I, of course, know that you are Daredevil. There's a new shark in the sea, Murdoch, and he's trying to take a bite of me. I want you to reel him in.
You've got to be kidding.
I never joke of business, Matthew. You know that. So, you'll don your little red monkey suit, and you'll find our mutual antagonist, and you'll scare him away. Because if you don't, you can rest assured there will be a war. Innocents will die, and blood will be shed. If that happens, it will be your fault. You have no choice. Now, to business. I'm informed that two old friends, Stilt-Man and Gladiator, recently took an unscheduled vacation from the maximum security wing of a federal mental institute, where they have been incarcerated for the past few years. I'm also told they've chosen, rather unwisely, to ally themselves with the wrong crowd, so to speak. I can't imagine why they'd agree to something so unhealthy. But there you have it. There's a third member of the team that attacked my building. A charming fellow with a penchant for leaving pennies on the eyes of his victims. I was under the impression that you were present when the lunatic known as Copperhead was electrocuted some years ago. So, we may assume that this is an imposter, but they cannot have acted alone. All my instincts tell me they don't have the resources. I want you to find the ringleader, whoever he is, and bring him down. You will use your legal representation of me as a cover to report your findings periodically. And I expect the judge to find in my favor, if you please.
All right. You win. For the moment. 7MO. It's the only lead I have. Does it mean anything to you?
I would say, if a man wanted to solve that particular riddle, it would depend on how he looked at it.
The owl. It can't be.
I'd love to see the look on your face right now, Murdoch. If it is Owlsley, then we're both in for an interesting time, I think. Sane men can be bribed or reasoned with or intimidated. Lunatics are less tractable. Now go play. Do whatever it is you do.
Don't ever assume I'm agreeing to this to appease you, Fisk.
If it makes you feel any better, then by all means you may make that your personal mantra. It makes no difference to me. I have what I need as I predicted I would. And you know what? In a way, I'm seeing a long-held personal dream fulfilled this afternoon. I always wanted to own a superhero.
Matt! Over here! Hey, what? Hang on. Catch my breath. Here's a briefcase. What the hell do you mean by we're taking a Fisk case? Is this some kind of lawyer joke?
No joke, Foggy. You never heard of the cliche about keeping your friends close and your enemies closer? Mr. Fisk has retained our services in the matter of the gas main explosion at his tower. I need you to do me a favor and go meet with his accounting firm in Wisconsin.
Well, sure, but what for?
All the information you need is in the case. Ah, there she is. Foggy Nelson, I do believe you've met Natasha Romanoff. Natasha, you remember Foggy, don't you? Natasha's going to be helping us with this case, Foggy.
How could I forget the dashing Mr. Foggy Nelson? You look so slim these days, Foggy. As skinny as a rake.
Jeez, Matt, what am I supposed to do?
You'll figure it out. Just look through the briefcase, Foggy. I've given you all the information you need. You can tell Natasha everything.
So, Mr. Nelson, would you like to fill me in?
This is a joke, right?
Got a hunch. It was something Jack Abbott said to me about looking for bad guys up in the air, when in reality, they're under your feet. Come on. If the owls are men and he has enough savvy to know people are looking for him, where do you think he'd hide?
I got a bad feeling about this.
He's not the only one. I may not possess Spider-Man's intuition, but I have a great sense of smell. And I smell danger. The sewer's an overload of sensory information to someone like me. Too much information is no information at all. Up ahead, I think I detect the telltale sounds of hearts beating excitedly. But it's my imagination. Rats scurrying over the pipes. Laughter, like tinkling bells. That's the sound of the water dripping into the sewer. Plastic bag rustles, caught in an eddy current of nauseating sludge. Only God knows what's making that foul smell. I focus on the pipes and the rats. Strange. There's another sound beneath it. The sound of breathing. Spider-Man, look out!
Someone got a bad feeling. Didn't I tell you?
But there's something terribly wrong here. And it's not the bullets flying past our noses. It's something else. So much noise. Everything's happening at once. The source of the shots isn't coming any closer. Why aren't they advancing? They don't want to get us out. No. They want us in here. It's so loud. I smell nitroglycerin. Get down!
Oh gosh! DD! You okay? Daredevil!
Well, how about that, boss? What are we gonna do with these two losers?
Eat.